It's been quite a while since I posted the first video where somebody gave me this compressor. One of my retired colleagues from where I work had, I think he found a whole fridge at a junkyard and took the parts off because he knew that I liked the antique fridges. And this was an R114 Frigidaire compressor, and I have saved it and kept it in case someone else needed it, and so far nobody has. And then this Frigidaire cabinet became available, and it's complete. I've just taken the door off because I'm planning to try to repaint it. And it was originally a belt drive, so I've restored a bunch of the belt drives, but this one was missing too many parts and it wasn't really a candidate for that, so I figured I would try to repurpose this little compressor, and that is what I've done here. I've got it mounted on the springs so that it's vibration isolated. Got vibration isolators on the lines, and for a condenser I had that in the junk bin and adapted it. Put a new filter dryer, a new capillary tube, and I've soldered the cap tube to the return line to make a heat exchanger, and that goes all the way up through the back of the cabinet up to the top there. And you can just see the end of the cap tube right back in there where it's all soldered together. So I have the original evaporator in the cabinet, but everything else is custom, so to speak. And assuming it runs and lasts for a couple of weeks of running, I'll go ahead and finish refinishing the cabinet and make a runner out of this one. Now, you know me, I like to keep things original. In this case, I couldn't because I didn't have all the parts, but this would be like a period correct modification, because that compressor is from the late 30s and this cabinet's from the early 30s, so it's within the same decade, and it's pretty well what they would have used back in the day if somebody had decided to convert away from a belt drive. Now, this is where the Freon goes in, so there's no modern service port on it. I kept everything as far period correct as I could. And then when I do the final wiring, of course, it won't have all this stuff down here. For refrigerant, I've got this super cold HFO 1234ZE. It's also sold under the name Solstice ZE for use in other markets besides the States. Here in the States, the only way that I can get it is in these small cans sold by MG Chemicals. And people actually use this, I wouldn't do it, but they spray it on their skin to like freeze off warts. I think rather than buying a can of Freon and trying to spray it on my skin, I think I'll probably go to the doctor if I had that problem, but to each his own. But the more they buy it, the more it'll be available for our antique fridge projects. So this 1234ZE operates at a lower pressure than things like R12 and R134A, and as a result it works okay in these old units that were designed for R114, which was a lower pressure refrigerant. This is still a little bit more pressure than R114, but it's not nearly as dramatic as trying to go with something else like 152A, which would actually stall this compressor if you tried it. So in a few moments it'll kick on, and I'll do a running sound video. You can see these old Frigidaire cabinets are actually wood with a metal cladding around it, and underneath here is the insulation. And this one has kind of an interesting insulation system. I replaced the back insulation with this styrofoam, but this original is layers of paper layered with aluminum foil in here. There's many layers of paper and aluminum foil, and it's got air gaps in it, and that's how it works. As you can see, this one's rotten. See all the layers there. So to put it back together after I put the new refrigerant lines in there, I went with this styrofoam.